So if you're infertile, that means you have to go through IVF, and IVF is expensive.
Crazy.
It's $15,000 to $30,000 depending where you're at per round.
Let's pivot into this really quick. I mean, Mike, what are the current like birth rates in the United States? Because I know it's going down. It's going down dramatically. Hey, you couldn't be anybody in.
I don't think I could do it. Period.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
You know?
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Deep down, I'd be like, that's his kid.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Doubt and Devotion podcast. I'm your co-host, Billy G.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jarrod.
In today's episode, we're going to be diving into the world of IVF, pregnancies, birth rates. There has been a massive decline in the birth rates in the United States and other countries, which is truly a phenomenon that's happening. And then there's another side of this coin where there are people who literally can't even have children, and they'd have to go through extreme lengths in order to have said children. So Jarrod actually has just recently gone through an IVF journey with his wife, Daniela. So we're definitely going to hear a little bit more of his story, some of his experiences, and kind of look at both of the sides of this coin.
Yeah. So I feel like with IVF that there's a lot of things that don't get spoken about enough. You know, when you're looking into the process and talking to doctors and going to all these appointments, it's like they do give you an idea of like kind of how hard it could be as far as like success rates, but I don't think they prep you enough on what comes with it, you know?
Well, let's do this too. Let's give a definition of IVF. So, I think people have an idea like, okay, that's when you like artificially help get pregnant, but like, what is the actual process of it? Like, what is truly IVF?
So there's multiple steps to the process, and that's the thing. It depends on your situation. So for me, there was an added layer to the IVF process because after my back surgeries, they took the ability for me to have kids on my own away. Yeah. And that's the whole reason that we had to go through IVF. But since part of it was me, I had to go through a procedure that basically, long story short, without too many details, had to extract the semen from me. Yeah. And I'll dive into that a little bit more because it's a lot more complicated than that. But that added layer is just another procedure on top of the normal process. Right. So normally you can go to a clinic and you do the awkward scenario of giving them your stuff. Yeah. Go into one of those awkward rooms and give them a cup, and then they go through the rest of the process normally. So for me, it was a little bit different, but that's typically what you're going to do on the guy's end. Then you have to schedule, and I hope I don't miss things because there's a lot, but then you have to schedule the extraction of the eggs. So that's when wifey has to go in for her procedure. Yes. They extract as many eggs as they possibly can get. I don't know the range, Mike. Maybe you could look that up, like what the typical range is for, let's say, 35-year-olds and under or whatever, or 40-year-olds and under, I guess is probably a better number. But we got 12 on our extraction, which was like okay. It wasn't amazing and it wasn't bad. Yeah. And then from there, you have to schedule to have the semen implanted into the egg, and then you have to wait for the egg to go through the blast process. So that's one thing I don't know like the averages on, but
so it says under 35, 10 to 20 eggs.
Okay, yeah. So we got 12. So it's pretty good. Pretty good. But I know people that went through it and got like 20 eggs.
Yeah, 35 fantastic. To 37 is 8 to 15, and then 38 to 40 is 6 to 12.
And I assume more eggs, more chance.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So again, our situation, everything was against us, and that's one of the biggest things that really let me know that God was working is that, because we were told that there was basically no chance, just from a science, like outside looking in science and just saying like I had no usable sperm. Like that's what we were told. They all looked dead basically. And that's the added layer is I had the initial procedure to extract my semen in 2024, and they didn't look good. So we froze them, and we're like, okay, I'm going to come off TRT. I'm going to do everything right. I was doing everything right. HCG.
Diet.
maybe not diet so much. Let's be
Anything
honest.
but
Let's
diet.
be honest. Yeah. So everything else I did right. And I did it for months. I did it for the length of time that you should to get your levels back to normal. Scheduled the procedure and did the procedure a couple months ago now. It wasn't too long ago, maybe 3 or 4 months. And I remember coming out of the procedure. Obviously, I'm still out of it, but I remember the doctor telling me it was not good. Like, it wasn't good. And that sucked because not only, basically what happened is they did it the normal way, and then if there was nothing there, they had to do a biopsy of one of my testicles. Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. So I went through all of that to be told that it was unsuccessful. And obviously I'm breaking down. Daniela's breaking down. She's trying to stay as strong as possible. It was an emotional roller coaster. But I say that to say that I know that it's God, because there's nothing else that it could be, you know. And the story gets better because that was on a Friday. The procedure was on a Friday. The next day, I was in the process of doing 21 days of prayer, they call it, at the church. And there was on Saturdays they still did it. So I woke Daniela up and I asked if she wanted to go to me, and obviously she was still very emotional. She's like, I don't really want to go. I'm just going to be crying. I'm like, let's just go. And we go, and I'm in prayer. I have my head down. I'm focusing on that. But they have these little prayer cards, and on the prayer card I wrote, you know, I pray that we get a call from the doctor before we leave. Or I might have just said, I pray we get a call from the doctor today. I don't know if I specified before we leave. And since I had my head down in prayer, I had no idea that Daniela wasn't there. And I feel a tug on my shirt, and she looks flustered, obviously, when I look over, and she's just breaks down crying. She can't really speak. I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, the doctor just called. One of them was successful. Basically, an egg made it to blast, which is like the first step once you implant the specimen, right? And obviously, that was amazing, shocking.
Crazy.
Like, I got goosebumps. It was really crazy. Yeah. So all things were against us, but we had success in that. Unfortunately, that one didn't make it to the full stage, but like, that was the glimmer of hope that we needed, you know, like we were...
That it's at least somewhat possible.
Yeah, we knew that it was possible, you know? So then they had 3 sperm to implant into 3 eggs, and we did it. Two were successful. One looked a little better than the other, and that's the one that we ultimately ended up implanting into her. And now... fast forward, we are pregnant with twins. So, and the odds of that, I looked up the odds of that. The odds of that, I wrote it somewhere, is 1 to 2%. That the odds that they split. So it wasn't that, because it's super common to have twins with IVF because you're implanting multiple embryos at once, and that's what gives you the high probability of, I don't know if it's high, but higher chance of twins. Yeah. And obviously, I have twins that run in my family. My mom's a twin. But this was a singular embryo that split into 2, and it just makes it that much crazier. Yeah. You know, like,
it's truly nuts.
The odds are 1 to 2%, and our odds were even lower because of the circumstances. Yeah. You know, but the things that I think need to be spoke about more is the emotions that come with this, the stuff that this can do to your marriage, to you by yourself, like the emotional just roller coaster that you're going through.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you know, I think that pregnancy, children, all of that in general adds a lot of stress to a couple. You know what I mean? I mean, it's even people who have a relatively easy go, there are still a lot of things that come up along the way. Then the actual child being born, your dynamic has changed. You know, granted, you guys are adding like multiple layers of complexity to it. You know what I mean? So I can imagine it is significantly harder. You know, like I know for me, you know, when Samantha got pregnant with Charlotte, it was really easy. We had like the easiest pregnancy ever. Like it was just like done. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like by the time I realized that she's coming, you know, no issues whatsoever. And then, you know, then you have people who have a lot of issues along the way. And then you have people who have to go through leaps and bounds, you know, to have a child. Now, I want to ask you this though, because I mean, you have a child already, right? Who was brought through the world through conventional means. Why go the extra several miles to make this happen if you already have a child?
We always wanted to.
Always wanted to.
And that's like the go-to line. So again, I know that they're trying to help and make you feel more comfortable, but that's not the thing that you want to hear. It's like, oh, well, at least you have a kid.
Right.
You know, like since we were young, we knew that we wanted 2 kids.
Oh, so this has been a plan for a long time.
Yeah, on both of us, like personally, and then as a married couple, like we knew that we wanted 2 kids.
Yeah.
And again, the circumstances is what makes it even more frustrating. And she started feeling guilty. I started feeling guilty because in her mind, she's like, well, we should have just tried right away, you know, instead of delaying. And in my mind, I'm like, well, the ability for me to do it was stripped from me from surgery. You know, like if I never got the surgery, we wouldn't even be in this situation.
Right.
You know, so we were both feeling guilty for different reasons. Obviously, both trying to comfort each other. But yeah, we knew that we wanted 2 kids, and we decided that we had to try this. We had to try this, you know, and when the road was getting bumpy, we had a few sit downs where we were like, should we do this? Are we sure we want to do this? And we both agreed we wanted to do this.
Right.
So ultimately, that's why we did the IVF. Obviously, I wish we never had to. We never wanted a 6-year age gap, I'll tell you that, you know, and now it's twins. So it's just an added layer.
Yeah, for sure.
You can imagine.
For sure.
Of stress, obviously exciting, but it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
you know,
and you know the age gap is definitely a real, I don't want to say concern, but it's a thing. You know, I've inherited another child, and you know there is a 5-year age gap, and they are on 2 completely different planes of existence at the moment. You know what I mean? Like they're just not in the same worlds. They bump heads a lot because of that. You know, and I know that dynamic changes as they grow older. You know, right? But you know, it is a valid thing to be. I don't want to say concerned about, but like
it's a concern.
It's a valid thing.
It's a
I think
concern.
the good thing though is that the twins will have each other, right? You know, they're going to have each other through those times, and then you know because usually what ends up happening is like the older one kind of like bullies the younger one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they're going to like have each other's back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The one thing that's nice is Luca's not self-sufficient, but he's getting better and better.
For sure.
Know, like he could get himself dressed, he could take a shower, he
Of
could
course.
brush his own teeth.
That's
if he wanted to, he could put himself to bed
It's
with no
life-changing
issue.
when
So
kids get there. Yeah.
that is
Yes.
a nice positive.
Yes, because now you're not taking care of fully taking care of 3 children.
Yeah. Yeah. You like we talk about it all the time, but our main concern is making sure that he knows that he's not being left out. You know, like that's our main priority.
For sure.
Obviously, we'll be on shifts and rotations. We tell each other that, and obviously things can change. But as of now, we're like, you need to have alone time with Luca. I need to have alone time with Luca.
Yes.
Luckily, we have a village. You know, like we have a ton of people that are willing to help. Like both of our moms are heavily involved and will be heavily involved.
Yeah.
She doesn't know it yet, but Monica's going to be getting bribed to come live with us. I would bribe my mom, but she has too many dogs, you know, and Monica has her stepdad that will help take care of their dogs. So, but that's a real thing. Like that's one thing that me and Daniela are not on the same page about is like, we need help in the beginning, bro. And she's super stubborn. She doesn't think we need it, but I think we need it. I think for the first couple months, we need to, I would get a nanny. She's not for it. So I'm like, happy medium, your mom, you know, like, and I know she'll be willing to do it.
Kind of a win. Yeah.
Yeah. But we need something. That's
because it is significantly different that there's 2.
Yeah, that's
new. Significantly different.
It's starting over for us as a whole. Like it's been 6 years, man. Like,
yeah,
I know I'm gonna have to relearn some things.
Oh, look, I'm gonna tell you right now because me and Laura discussed this too. Like when we're together and like we decided we wanted to stay together and get married. We're like, okay, well, do we maybe want to have one together? You know, and like we did like the AI thing where like you put your faces together and it makes like a kid for you. That was not helpful because we both kind of always wanted like a boy too.
Yeah.
You know, we have 2 girls. But when I really sat back and thought about it, I was like, okay, I'm 37 now, right? I'm very set in my ways. I'm finally at the stage with Charlotte where just like you said about Luca, I could be like, go take a bath.
Yeah.
You know, hey man, go get yourself ready for bed. I still got to make her food and I still got to put her to bed and I still do the dad thing, right? But self-sufficient wise, she's basically there, you know? Do I want to start
over.
that again, where I'm back to diapers, I'm back to bassinets, I'm back to, I don't know, Charlotte was a particularly difficult little child. So like, do I want the potential of that again? You know what I mean? So it's like real questions I had to ask myself. And I think real concerns on your end, because you're a different person now than when Luca was a little baby. You have more things going on. You have much more stress in your life. There's differences, right? I certainly wouldn't be against a little bit of help if it was me in the situation. That's for sure. But I think it's one of those things too, where like you got to wait and see. Be happy, let the babies come. If you guys decide, like, oh man, we need some help.
For sure. But the twins are throwing a whole different wrench in things.
Yes, no, it totally is.
It causes a lot of confusion, dude.
It totally is.
Like we're already like, if one's crying and the other's not, that they're gonna get woken up by the other.
So what do you do?
Yeah, and like, I don't know this, but like, do some twins sleep in the same crib? I assume maybe.
I think they need separate. Man.
I plan on doing separate.
I would believe they would need separate. Yeah,
like God forbid, especially
people
at like
with twins
younger
comment,
age.
If you have a twin or are a twin or have twins, like.
Yeah, and even like, so we went. This is crazy in itself. We went stroller shopping last weekend, Miami, of course, my favorite. And it's just a stroller store, everything strollers. And to see the progression and just something so simple like car seats and strollers in the last 6 years.
They're really wild. They're great.
The one I bought is badass.
Yeah, they're great.
It's got a motor on it, electric motor. Listen, I got justification for it. It was a $300 difference. And I'm like, they're twins. They're naturally going to be big. Look at Luca. I'm like, if Luca wants to push a stroller, we got two babies, 2 car seats, storage underneath. It's going to get heavy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, why not? It's $300 difference. If it was like $800 difference, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But it was expensive, dude. The car seats, we got 2 car seats and the stroller. How much you think it was?
$2,000.
Almost $2,400.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That is insane. Well, you went bougie, so what do you expect?
Yeah, not really. There was way more expensive than
really?
that.
So
way
you guys
more
are like middle of the road with it?
I'd say middle of the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah, like I think with Luca, we probably on the stroller and the car seat, probably like $800, $900.
Yeah.
But again, now you're getting 2, and there's not a ton of twin stroller options, which I found very weird.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
there's
you
2
gotta
brands.
think there's only like a couple percentage of the
I
population
guess.
has twins.
Yeah. So there's only 2 brands. There's only really 2 main options, and we went with the one that's like they're basically stacked on each other, not side by side.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I'm like, how the hell are you going to get through doors? You got the side by side.
Yes, you're right. No, you're right.
And they claim that they could get through any standard door, and I'm looking at them like,
there's just no way.
I call BS.
I've seen them before. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be
like
struggling
tanks.
to get. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
so we went with
tanks.
that option. But yeah, there's so many things that we need 2 of. You need 2 bottle washers. You need 2 bassinets. You need 2 of everything.
Yeah.
2 of everything, especially in the beginning. As they get older, you could let them share stuff. But
For sure.
2 bottle warmers, literally 2 of everything in the beginning stages. So it's just there's
that's stuff you don't really think about until you got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's quickly approaching, dude. They're doing November, but most likely going to come in October.
Wow.
And it's not that far away.
Wow.
Yeah. I find myself, and that's how I know it hasn't fully hit me, because I'm not freaking out as I should be. But I'm like, as it comes closer, I know I'm gonna.
Of course. I mean, I think every person is excited yet freaks out a little.
Of course.
bit. The moment, because there's obviously things that your brain tells you, and like it's not really 100% okay until they're out in the world. Mom's good, babies are good, everybody's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because not to be pessimistic, but weird stuff happens with pregnancies and I mean, you guys had your own horror story with Luca.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, at least for me, I always think of stuff like that where I'm like, I'm not good until everybody else is good.
Yeah.
And once everybody's good, then I can kind of take a breath.
For the first 6 months at least, it's gonna be
For sure.
be rough.
For sure.
No sleep and
You're getting training on that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The team no sleep.
even that stuff though, like I find myself like questioning how we did certain things with Luca, and I start to feel guilty, like sleep training. Now I see all these videos and all this stuff coming out about sleep training and the negative effect on it. I'm like, damn, man, did I mess up?
Like what? What do you mean?
So we sleep trained Luca, and basically you let him cry it out, And
yeah.
now I find myself like feeling guilty. I'm like, I kind of feel like a prick, like,
No.
did damage my kid. You know, it's the last thing that we wanted.
No.
But you start seeing all these things, and it starts to get you in your head.
Man, look, I feel like there is a happy medium.
That's exactly what my plan is.
Okay, there's a happy medium. There has to be a sense of independence with every human. Okay, and then there has to be a sense of community for every human.
Yeah.
So they need a good balance of both, and this is just my opinion.
I agree.
do I know?
I agree with you.
There were times where we let Charlotte cry it out, and there were times where I went and comforted her. And even now, when at her age, there are times where I'm like, if I see she's getting overly emotional, I assess the situation. Do I comfort her in this moment, or do I be like, hey, cut it out?
Yeah,
because you're using this as a manipulation tool. Is what you're doing.
Yeah,
So I don't think you should feel bad, man. Because look, one, you don't know what you don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
You can only do the best you ever can. That's all parenting is, doing the best you possibly can in that moment. And I think just finding the happy medium is always going to be the safer bet with everything.
Yeah.
When it comes to parenting.
Yeah, I agree. And that's kind of where my head is at. And Daniela agrees too, is like, even with that type of stuff, like we were very strict about not letting them sleep in our bed. And we still are.
I am too. I'm very,
because I've seen the other side of that.
I have too, where they're 7 years old sleeping in your bed. I'm not having that, bro. I'm just not having that.
But I do believe that there's a happy medium with that too. You know, on some nights, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world if they sleep with you.
Well,
especially at a younger age.
Well, you know what scared me, man? I was in the rooms up north, and I knew a guy. He had like maybe 2 or 3 years clean, and he had a baby, and he fell asleep with the baby on his chest.
Oh boy.
And he rolled over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you already know. I don't need to say
that
it.
would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I heard him say that in a meeting, right, for me, it was an immediate absolutely not.
Yeah.
It was just, look, I'm a big guy, okay? And I was even bigger back then.
Yeah.
So it is an immediate absolutely not. Just not happening. It's not happening. Like, if I even feel myself remotely getting tired, the baby goes where the baby needs to go.
Yeah.
And it's just out of safety. And I remember even then, like, I would watch the camera. I'd get like this close.
Oh yeah.
And watch her little
dude in the beginning.
Her little chest go up and down.
I have videos of me sneaking in the room and like putting my hand on his chest.
Yeah.
And you see that all the time.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
That was tough.
So for me, like, I understand the happy medium thing. I do. But for me, it's always like, I just think of stuff like that. And I don't know if I'm like messed up in the head for thinking of stuff like that. But
no,
like,
it's a known thing.
Yeah, I'm always very cautious of like keeping the child as safe as possible.
Yeah.
Whether it hurts anybody's feelings. Or
Yeah.
not,
Who cares? It's your kid, right? And like you said, as long as you're not actively trying to cause damage,
for sure.
Like, then it is what it is.
It was just,
trial by fire.
It was something that always stuck with me, and I was like, it's just not happening.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff freaked me out. You hear about them like suffocating under their blanket.
Yes,
yeah, dude.
of
Like,
course.
We got the mattress that's breathable. It's like a sponge basically. So
I mean, essentially,
holes.
any time she went to sleep, I snuck in there multiple times.
Yeah. We had all the stuff
sure.
to monitor it, which was clutch. And I would always get that. They had the thing that goes on their foot.
Yeah.
Monitors like oxygen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Owlet, it was called. They have a bunch now. God knows what they have now. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, technology is that's nice in itself.
Yeah.
But I guess to get back to the IVF topic, it's like I just feel that there should be more talking and preparation for the emotions that come with it, and a lot of it is depending on your situation and your marriage as it stands right now, but it's going to test you.
Of course.
It's going to test you on a personal level. It's going to test you test your marriage. And just making sure that as the husband or the significant other, that you are aware of what they're going through, because it's a lot, man. It is a lot.
Yeah.
I hated it. I couldn't stand it. She had to inject every day.
I was just gonna say
multiple times, most days.
The extra layer is all the hormones that are involved in it.
And she honestly, man, I have to give her credit. She handled it so well. She really did. Like, she had some days, of course, but obviously I understood as much as I possibly could, like what's going through her body. The hormones are skyrocketed. Estrogen got into the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, how is that? It's not normal.
I mean, that's kind of the point.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, and having to watch her, and I tried to offer to inject her, but she felt more comfortable doing it on her own. And seeing her, sometimes she would start gushing blood.
Mess it up.
Yeah, dude. And it sucks. You feel you feel helpless in so many ways. But like you have to be supporting them and comforting them as much as you possibly can. And sometimes that just meant shutting up and just being present, you know, like they don't always want to hear you talk.
For sure. Yeah. And I had a mini journey with this myself. Laura did some egg donations for a really close friend of hers who is not, I'll just say he's not in a situation where he's going to have kids naturally. Okay. So, you know, she did it for him, which was very nice of her to do. And I watched the process. It was about only 4 weeks, you know, of like the injections and like she had to go through blood work like every single day, you know, and I had to bring her to the procedure. And it was, you know, it's not easy, man. It's not, it sucks.
Dude. Yeah.
And that was only a small sliver.
That's a selfless act.
Yeah. It's a small sliver, you know, of what the whole process truly is. And, you know, now he's in the process of finding a surrogate and like, you know, there's even extra layers of complexity, you know, on his side of it.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, because that it's. I was talking to him recently about it, and it's very, very difficult. Everything that he has to do.
Yeah,
to get this done,
and that's a whole nother layer, you know. Like,
like you gotta find someone healthy who's willing to do it.
Yeah,
you know, and like that doesn't cost $1 bazillion. It's a big deal.
Yeah, even with that, like because we thought we had no chance from what we were told. It didn't look good at all, and then this was our Hail Mary. And it ended up working. But at that point, like after the procedure, obviously I'm breaking down, I'm emotional. And my brother actually was like, you know, if you wanted, he would be a donor. And then I'm like, that's super nice. Awesome to offer. Yeah. But you already know, like, I'm like, that's kind of weird. You know, like I couldn't get on board with it, you know? And luckily we didn't have to go that route, but that would have been like our plan Z, you know? And then I don't know. I don't think I could have did it, you know.
No,
it's just
be
not
anybody
the same.
Yeah, you couldn't be anybody you know.
I don't think I could do it. Period.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
You know.
I don't blame you.
Deep down, I'd be like, that's his kid.
Yeah.
You know, like I would love him, but I don't know. It's weird, right?
No, I totally understand where you're coming from. There is a different bond that you have with, you know, your child. Like your
it's basically that would be like my
child.
nephew, which I love to death.
Yeah,
I would do anything.
You know, when I look at Charlotte, I could see so much of me there.
Yeah.
You know, in so many different ways.
I just couldn't do it. I'd rather.
It was nice of him to offer.
Of course,
very nice.
Of course, super appreciative of that.
Yeah.
But it was just strange. Yeah. And now we're in a situation where we have that embryo. We have that embryo frozen. And before I was like, yeah, well, let's donate it. Like and then she starts talking to me about it, and it got in my head big time because she's right. It's like that's basically the early stages of our child. Like that's another one of our kids, basically.
That's correct.
And it is kind of strange.
And they would be walking
you donate
the world.
it, and they're walking the world. And we could potentially have no relationship, no idea, and I don't know if I would want to have a relationship.
They legally won't let you. Yeah, I mean, once
makes sense.
Once the person becomes an adult, they could go through the process of, you know, the
if they wanted to see
DNA
you
tracing.
And meet you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they don't allow that.
So now I'm in my head about that, you know, because initially I was like, yeah, of course we're going to donate it. Give it to someone that can't do it, you know. But now,
I still think that's a very precious gift.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, you know, let's pivot into this really quick. I mean, Mike, what are the current like birth rates in the United States? Because I know it's going down. It's going down dramatically.
And why is that though? Like, is it cost? You know,
I think it's multifaceted.
I'm sure that's a factor.
I think it's multifaceted. So I think some of it is economics.
Yeah.
But I think some of it too is proven fact that there are lower testosterone levels among men now than there were years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And I do believe that does contribute to some lack of fertility. Yeah, for sure. I mean, think about even the foods we're eating, the hormones we're taking. You know, there's so much about modern society I think works against the idea of reproduction.
That's another thing that I feel like people don't talk about enough is the infertility.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, there's a lot of people.
A ton.
It says right now 1.6 babies per woman. Mm-hmm. So 3.6 million babies were born in 2025, down about 1% from 2024.
Yeah.
Which 1% on the scale of the world
but
is
1% adds up.
That's
but
what
it says here the U.S. fertility rate fell to a record low of 53.1 births per 1,000 women ages 15 to 44 in 2025.
See, exactly. So Granted, I do believe economics does play a role. I mean, dude, money is rough right now for a lot of industries. I'm watching it happen. Money is tough. Okay. And I mean, dude, you just talked about a $2,000 stroller.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, think about that. Yeah. Imagine if somebody who naturally had, hey, I have twins coming, and your option is a $2,000 stroller.
Yeah.
You know, and it's $300 was the upgrade. So let's say it's a $1,700 stroller.
There's cheaper options.
For sure. But what I'm saying is,
I just want to specify.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, people hear that. That's daunting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's daunting to think about. Like, there's 2 more mouths to feed. That is a bigger place that you're going to need.
Yeah.
You know, luckily for you, you have a nice piece of land here. You know, you're doing okay for yourself. This situation, as hectic as it was, you're able to accommodate it in the right way. Yeah. Whereas some people, they get into these situations and they cannot accommodate anything. Yeah. You know, they're barely putting food in their own mouths, let alone somebody else's.
Especially in those things that we just mentioned, they go hand in hand, right? So if you're infertile, that means you have to go through IVF, and IVF is expensive.
Crazy.
It's $15,000 to $30,000 depending where you're at per round.
Yeah.
And the way it works is that it's 45 to 55% chance of success on round 1. If you're 35 or younger, it decreases. Not too significant. So 30 to 50% chance of success after 1 cycle. 30 to 50 after 1 cycle. By 3 rounds, the odds increase significantly to 70 to 80% for women under 35, 60 to 70% for 35 to 37, 40 to 60%, 38 to 40, and then obviously decreases from there. But not many people can afford 1 round, let alone 3 rounds.
Exactly.
Right. So that's probably the predicament that they end up in, is like, this is a lot in itself. It's not guaranteed that you're successful. So if we're okay with getting to 1 round, if we could manage it, we have to stop there. And that sucks. Yeah. That sucks in itself. The heartbreak that can come with that, the obviously the financial aspect of it. So it's like, I wonder if they're having that conversation and then they're just agreeing that it just doesn't make
sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's not worth it, you know? So now if you're in a situation where you can afford going to 3 rounds and you know that you're going to ride that wave, then sure. Yeah. You know, because the odds are drastically increased. You're most likely going to have a kid. Right. If you get to that 3rd round. Right. But not many people can afford that, man. You're talking
for sure.
Again, $15,000 to $30,000 per round. If you have other layers to it, like I did, each one of those procedures was $6,500 out of pocket. Mm-hmm. Insurance doesn't cover it.
Of course not. Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. I find that ridiculous too. I think that IVF should be.
That's a whole other episode.
I know,
scumbags.
But I just find it ridiculous. You know,
and to lean into what you're saying, you know, about the financial cost of, you know, even if you're in the situation where you're infertile, there is obviously the financial cost of, you know, the burden of a child for 18 years. Okay. Yeah. And I think societally, a lot of people are in a place where they're like, I just don't want to commit to that. Yeah. You know, they look at their own life and they're like, you know what? I plan on retiring when I'm 50 or like 55. And, you know, to cost, what is the average yearly cost of a child? It was
yearly?
Yeah. I believe it was substantial. And think about it. That's money going out every year that you could be saving, right? If you didn't have a child.
I am curious. I'm betting 15 grand minimum.
It's way more.
Minimum.
I think it's way more.
Recent estimates put the cost of raising a child in the U.S. at roughly $18,000 to $25,000 per year per child.
So let's say 20 grand in the, you know, just as a middle ground. You know, that's 20 grand that somebody could be saving for 18 years. Yeah. Think about it. That's over, you know, $300,000.
And on top of that, another layer, I'm assuming, is that they're scared to bring a child into this world.
That was my thing.
The world that we
for
live
the longest time. I remember I was at a meeting.
I still struggle with that.
I was at a meeting that night, and there was this girl outside. We were talking about Samantha. I forget why, but she was like, "Oh, you know, you guys ever gonna have a child?" And I'm like, "Nah, not really." And literally that night, Smith told me she was pregnant. Literally that night. And my whole thing too was like, man, like this world is scary, dude. It's scary. Like there's so much like evil and like bad things that happen. And like, I don't know if I want to be responsible for someone's well-being through it. You know what I mean? And obviously now I'm so glad I am. I'm so glad I did it. But like, it is a scary thought knowing that like, there's that extra layer of fear that something may happen to them, or you know what I mean? Like,
it's a valid concern.
It is, you know, it really is, and like, you know, especially like her mom isn't here anymore. You know what I mean? So that only for me like solidifies that the world's a dangerous place. You know what I mean? And now I'm like extra on guard for her, in pretty much everybody that I care about. So I think there's multifaceted reasons why people, like, why the birth rates are just not where they used to be, right? But I do think too that infertility is playing a larger and larger role as 100%. Time goes on, just due to horrible lifestyle factors that we have in the United States. I mean, obesity itself is a comorbidity for death and for being infertile. I also think too that the rise of performance-enhancing drugs is playing a major role.
Yes.
Kids are starting performance-enhancing drugs in their teens.
Yeah, dude, they're on testosterone and all this stuff that's killing
and dumb
their
shit.
ability.
You know what I mean? Where like, you know, I'm all for performance enhancement. Love it. But not for a 17 to 18-year-old kid. Okay. You know, I'm all for it when you're in your late 20s and 30s. Do you, bro? Yeah. You know, but at least give yourself the chance, because I think people are killing themselves in that area doing those things.
Which is another layer. I know obviously a lot of them were probably accidental.
For sure.
You know, like oopsie babies.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably way less of those because of that.
For sure.
Even if you're trying, you're not able to because you're pumped full of testosterone.
Correct.
And
that's not to say if you take those things that you'll automatically be infertile. I was on testosterone when Charlotte was conceived.
It's common.
Right?
I don't know if it's common, but it happens.
And there's a weird thing where like those guys always tend to have girls, which is very strange.
Interesting.
It's a very weird trend. If you look at the big bodybuilders, almost all of them have girls.
That's funny.
It's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I do think that does start to play a role,
Makes sense.
and it is fitness right now, even in the last 10 years, is humongous.
Yeah, booming.
You think about 2016 to now, you know, the Instagram age, really, it's blown up. And I do think that is playing a role too.
I think I'm sure selfishly a lot of people are deciding to not have kids also.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely. Yeah.
Because they're so focused on their life and them.
Correct.
And that's just...
It's the loss of conventional values.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that if you want to get political, I think that one major side of the political spectrum is really pushing for childless living. You know, where like it's all about you and your life and like what you identify as and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Whereas the other side can be a bit more conventional in the way they look at things, like the wife stays home with the child. And like you have women pursuing big careers instead of being stay-at-home mothers. You know, if you look at our country just, 50, 60, 70 years ago, very, very different dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
Very different dynamic. And that absolutely plays a role too.
Yeah, makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because they're typically the ones that are going to be pushing for a kid more, right?
Of course.
Naturally.
Of course.
And now, selfishly, they're focused on themselves and their career and their success.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Which is fine. You know, I mean, if you want to do that, do you? I'm an individualist. You do whatever you want with your life. But I think sometimes those people, while they're laser focused in one significant portion of their life, there is some regret later on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, I do believe we see regret later on, like where you're in your 50s or whatever, and you're like, man, not married, I don't have any kids. Like, I kind of missed the boat.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to take a while for it to catch up to them, but
yeah,
I'm sure there's plenty of people that have that regret.
Right, I'm positive.
Because once you're past the age,
especially as a woman, once you get, I mean, dude, they consider 35 plus geriatric.
High risk.
Geriatric.
Yeah.
That's a term reserved for like old people 80 plus.
It's crazy.
It's geriatric.
I know my cousin's pregnant right now. She's 38 and she's high risk.
Yeah. She's got to go to the doctor like once every 2 weeks or something.
She's always there.
Always there, right? Yeah. Because
same with us now, dude. Because twins you're high risk already, and she's 34, so she's on the
not
border. There yet. Yeah,
but almost geriatric.
Already high risk. So like I feel like we're at appointments freaking twice a week.
Yeah.
But it's nice. That part of it is kind of nice. You get to see the kids and make sure they're good more often, but it's a lot.
No, it is.
You got to leave work and miss work.
Yeah.
And
you're lucky you're in a position where you own the business, so you can kind of do what you want. You know
Otherwise,
what I mean?
it would be hard.
Yeah, it would be. Definitely.
Well, I don't know. I would just say that IVF is difficult. It comes with a lot of things that you're not aware of, but if you're thinking of going through it, just be prepared for that emotional roller coaster, and make sure that you guys stay together and then actually fight it as a team. That's all I can say, because it'll test you. It'll try to rip you apart. You know, but
well, there's different seasons in people's marriages and relationships, and that's going to be a season. You know,
for
where
sure.
like whether it ends up good or ends up bad, you know, you guys got to do it together, like you said.
Yeah, we've been through some stuff, so I like at this point we're just so used to it. You know, we've been through so much stuff together that I feel like we could pretty much handle anything. But it was still a trying time.
Of course, man.
You know.
Yeah. All right, so please like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave some comments below if you ever had IVF done, or you know, if you're thinking of starting a family but not sure where to start, or you know, if you maybe are at that age where it's a little too late to start a family and you're feeling some regret or anything. Leave some comments below for us. Every comment, every like matters, and we really appreciate the people who show up every week and support these videos. So thank you so much. Peace out. Bye.
Later, guys.